candy? Want candy now?
What's going on, everybody? Nazarachi coming back at you this evening with a new episode of Relic Review. We are going to take a brief look at the brand new Final Fantasy V event. It is the Scouring the Depths event. Now, this event is bringing in a new character and some new soul break mechanics into the game. He is Go-Go. He is a master of mimicking. So his default and burst soul breaks allow him to copy the actions of the previous command that a hero has done. So for example, if you are to use a fire spell and then you use Mimic with Go-Go, he will copy the fire spell with his own stats that the previous character has put off. Now, most effects will be able to be mimicked, but some are not. Like, for example, Dragoon jump abilities he can't mimic, and it will either default to an attack prior to the one that he cannot mimic, or he'll do a physical attack if the mimic is unsuccessful. But still, really cool new mechanic in the game. Bart's as well has a pretty reasonable BSB. Actually, I kind of like all the BSBs on this banner. And as well, you have your 80 and 120 difficulty Conquest Raid dungeons versus the Liquid Flame. Shouldn't be too difficult, just bring some powerful ice attacks. He has 3 phases, and on 2 of the 3, ice will hurt him pretty significantly. As well, bring maybe a little bit of physical and damage mitigation, and you should be able to breeze your way through it relatively easily. I never really have difficulty with those 2 lower difficulty dungeons, but they are good for newer players and getting some good EXP and leveling equipment, and low level motes as well. So moving forward, we do have the Relic banner here, and things are going to be accelerating quickly. The Extreme Fest banners are starting after or during the very end of this Final Fantasy V event. So you're going to want to start really getting your ducks in a row. Make sure you log in every day. We're getting our bonus 5 mithril for 10 days. It started already, so it adds up to 50 free mithril. And you should have gotten your gifts from the Cane Jump minigame as well, which was 15 mithril and some other stuff also. Now, the first item on the Relic banner is the Stardust Rod for Creel. It is a magic-based 6-star OSB rod, 77 attack, 164 magic, and 81 mind. Your bonus effect is a small boost to fire, but it is synergy dependent, unfortunately. And the Overstrike, Meteoric Assault, massive magic, fire, and non-elemental damage to one target, deals more damage for each fire attack the user has dealt, can break the damage cap. So this is a pretty standard OSB that we've seen with a lot of the ones coming out nowadays. It is magic element and non-elemental, and as well it has a modifier that can be scaled by doing a certain type of attack, fire in this case. I actually don't mind abilities like this. They have an edge up over some of the original OSBs that we're releasing that just basically do an attack with an element that can break the damage cap, but they don't have a scaling modifier on them. So this is a pretty reasonably good item, great for your spellcasting Final Fantasy V synergy. Personally, I would rather have fire stuff for Vivi, and as well Papilarmo. His stuff is pretty attractive as well. And then also Terra comes to mind, although this OSB seems to be a little bit more powerful with the stacking multiplier. I don't know, Locke even for fire you can't go wrong with. He's a really good thief. But again, for synergy and spellcasting, you can't go wrong with scaling OSBs. And your percent chance to draw this seems to be right around 0.98, so hovering at the standard 1% mark for OSBs and 6-star items. Next up, we have the Mimic's Rod. This is the new BSB for Go-Go that I was talking about here. So 55 attack, 132 magic, 105 mind. You do have a constant boost to water damage bonus effect, which is pretty cool. It's definitely going to help out his mechanics here. Your Burst Soul Break, Deep Aqua Breath. 6 magic, water, and non-elemental attacks to all targets, temporarily infuse the user with the power of water, and haste burst mode to the user. So by itself, it's just a reasonably good on entry water effect. It will stack quite nicely with Tidus's Chain Soul Break, but the real value in this BSB is going to be in this first burst command here, Way of the Mimic. So it's going to mimic the previous ally's actions, effective for most actions. The more times Way of the Mimic is used, the shorter its delay, which stacks up to 11 times. So this could potentially be very useful if you have the right team composition and you are having him mimic the proper abilities. You could potentially do a lot of damage with this ability, or a lot of heals, whatever you need. Now obviously you're going to want to plan properly for this and not accidentally use it after you cast Shelga or Protectica, for example, but in the proper hands with the proper tactics, this can be a very dangerous burst command here, making this burst soul break extremely unique, brand new, and honestly I would love to draw it. Infamous Waterworks, 4 magic water non-elemental attacks to 1 target. Black magic, very standard, again will stack quite nicely with Tidus's Chain Soul Break, and it seems like you have about a 1.17% chance to pull this BSB here. Next up, we have another new BSB for Bart's here, the Grand Helm. You got 17 attack, 115 defense, 102 resistance, and synergy bonus only, unfortunately, small boost to water damage. Now the BSB here, Woken Water, 8 physical water non-elemental attacks to 1 target, temporarily infuse the user with the power of water, and grant haste in burst mode to the user. Your burst abilities here, Smash Dive, physical damage to 1 target, temporarily lower its attack a large amount and raise the user's attack a large amount, and Spellblade Torrent, 4 physical water and non-elemental attacks to 1 enemy. So starting with the entry here, you do have the 8 attacks to 1 target, so you should get some pretty good damage off that. Again, will combo very nicely with Tidus's Chain Soul Break. And other than that, nothing too outlandish about the entry effects there. Now, your burst abilities, you're always going to want to lead with that first Smash Dive there. You're going to get the most benefit from it if you're versing a physical enemy, but again, it's still going to benefit Bart's with the large attack buff. And then Spellblade Torrent is another kind of standard ability, but if you combo this with his upcoming Legend Record materia and up his chances of double and sometimes even tri-casting, you could end up actually doing a pretty significant amount of DPS with this burst command. Legend Record materials are coming very soon and they are going to vastly change gameplay. So pretty interesting to keep in mind that even though there's no delay reduction or any bonus effects on this, that it will combine very nicely with Legend and any other Spellblade record materials. Good water-based burst soul break. It's not going to be his best soul break by any means, but it is pretty nifty, and all in all, I wouldn't mind drawing this one, but I would honestly really like to have the Go-Go BSB if I could cherry pick one from this banner here. And for the Grand Helm, you're looking at about a 0.59% chance recorded so far on pulling that one. So relatively low, unfortunately. Next up, we have a BSB for Creel here. We're back to her. Got a Rod, 55 attack, 128 magic, 66 mind, and you do have a small chance to silence constantly in effect. That will be useful when it's useful. Outside of a situation where you're actually verse a magic enemy who's not resistant to silence, then not going to help you out too much, but still pretty nifty. Tomorrow's Promise is your burst soul break here. 6 magic fire and non-elemental attacks to all targets, temporarily infuse the user with the power of fire, and grant haste burst mode to the user. So again, we have these 6 AoE attacks here, so not going to be as much damage, but it will help scale her multiplier up for her OSB quite nicely, and as well you get the infused user with the power of fire for that added bonus damage also. Burst commands here, Ignis Fatus, it's a fat fire I guess. 4 magic fire non-elemental attacks to 1 target with a moderate chance to interrupt with pending actions. Great in a situation where interrupt is going to be useful, but not anywhere near as useful as cast time reduction. Eruption, 2 magic fire non-elemental attacks to all targets and a small chance to slow them. So unfortunately, no bargain on this BSB here either, which makes Creel a little bit less desirable for me. The small chance to slow and moderate interrupt chance, while they are useful in their own right, are not anything that takes this BSB to a upper tier level. So unfortunately, it's not going to be quite as good as a significant amount of other Mage BSBs in this game, like Edea or Maria, for example. Obviously, Sid Reigns as well being the top of the list. And you have about a 1.37% chance to pull this BSB here. Honestly, compared to the other two BSBs on the banner, this would be your least wanted one in my opinion. Unless you really want some more Black Mage items, which you do have your Nightmare Relic banner open right now for that. So I'm not entirely certain that I'd be too happy if I pulled that BSB. Unless of course you're building Creel and you have all of her other soul breaks, then maybe you'd be happy with that one. But just me personally, I'm looking for Go-Go stuff and some Bart stuff as well. So next item here, back to Go-Go, the Mimic's Cap. You have a hat with 0 attack, 38 magic, 85 defense, 124 resistance, and 27 mind. So it's going to definitely favor spellcasters here. And minor water resistance is your bonus effect that you're getting off this one. So not going to be super useful all the time, but would be great in events like that Cognazo 220 difficulty apocalypse we just went through. Just food for thought. Very rare that you have a lot of water heavy enemies to face, but again, useful in its niche effect. Fantastic Symmetry is your super soul break here. Haste to all allies, temporarily raise their attack and magic a moderate amount. This is essentially the effects you get from the entry of Onion Knight's BSB, and it's just a super soul break version instead. So it is very useful, very effective. It's a great buff, and the haste egg on it as well makes this one a great item. Honestly, it's cool that he gets this effect. Now, it may be less desirable than his burst soul break if you happen to pull both to use this one, but it's a great source of this Onion Knight buff, so you won't have to necessarily roaming warrior Onion Knight if you are doing the Sid missions or something of that nature. So great buff, good cap. Definitely wouldn't mind pulling this one, but hopefully you get both of Go-Go's new relics. Then you are very lucky indeed. You have about a 2.93% chance to pull this Super Soul Break here, so almost 3% it seems like people are having on that one right now. And next up here is the only item on the banner that would be a dupe for me. I pulled this one on my Nightmare Dungeon banner. So it is the Beast Killer Whip for Creel, 81 attack, 122 magic, no other stats, and small chance to paralyze, which again is useful versus enemies that aren't resistant to that. Your Super Soul Break Unspoken Bond, 8 summoning magic non-elemental attacks to 1 target, and reduce the offensive magic casting time of all allies for 3 turns. This is really good on a Mage meta team. Outside of that, or for example, the Nightmare Dungeons for summoning, the effects on it are not super great. Toss it on your Mage team. Outside of that, probably not going to use this one, especially if you have her BSB or her OSB, then you're really never going to use this one. And your percent chance to draw the Beast Killer is about 1.37%. And next up here we have the Excalibur. It's a sword for Bards. It's a returning item, been around for quite a while. 122 attack, no other stats at all, and small boost to holy damage on the sword. Pretty cool. Lots of other more powerful swords do have this effect, but that could definitely help you out for synergy if you don't have very many Final Fantasy V swords for your holy characters. In your Super Soul Break, True Blade of Legend, 5 physical attacks to 1 target, and temporarily raise the party's defense a moderate amount. Pretty stackable buff, seeing as how it's only 1 stat that it's affecting, so you can strategically combine that fairly well with other buffs in the game. The 5 physical attacks, nothing really noteworthy there. Really, this is not one of the soul breaks you're going to want to be using with Bards a whole lot, but for, again, Sid missions or any type of torment type situation, the defense buff can come in quite handy. And it seems like you have about a 1.95% chance to pull that sword there. Again, not something that I would really want off this banner. Next up we have the Mace of Zeus. It is a staff for Lenna, 55 attack, 100 magic, and 126 mind. You have no bonus effects, and your Super Soul Break, Pride of Taikun, restore a large amount of HP to all allies, and temporarily raise their resistance a moderate amount. It's a good healing effect if you have nothing else for Lenna. It can definitely help you out for the Sid mission. The resistance raise will as well help you out if you're facing a lot of magic damage. So this one could be useful again, but unless this is your only Super Soul Break for Lenna, you're probably not going to be using this one unless you are taking a lot of magic damage. Very avoidable relic for me. I don't really want to pull this Mace of Zeus right here. This would be one of the least useful super soul breaks for me on this banner, but it could save you if you don't have any other healing for Final Fantasy V and you're attempting the Sid missions and you're not pulling on banner 2 at all. Seems like you have about a 2.73% chance to pull the Mace of Zeus here. I would certainly hope to not pull that one. And we have Yoichi's bow here. This is actually a reasonably good soul break for Ferris here. 106 attack, 26 magic, 26 mind, and no bonus effects. It is just a unique soul break, but I feel like they threw it on this banner because, again, the effects on it are pretty good. 4 physical range attacks to all targets and temporarily lower their attack and magic a large amount. Pretty stackable break. I honestly have seen a lot of high-level players continue to use this unique soul break, even if they have plenty of her other equipment. It is just useful, and Ferris is a great character, so this is one of the unique soul breaks that does withstand the test of time here. I don't actually have it, and I would love items for Ferris, so if I happen to 100 gem this, I honestly would not be sad at all. You have about a 2.15% chance to pull the unique soul break here, and that would be all the items on the banner. Now, let's go ahead and knock out our customary 100 gem draw here. Have no idea what to expect. Probably nothing too great. I've had reasonably good luck on 100 gem pulls recently, but hopefully it continues. So, we did get a 5-star. Holy Lord, I saw that nice flash, but unfortunately, it is the... Holy crap, man. It is the BSB for Lenna. It's the BSB I wanted least, but it's still a 100 gem BSB. What the heck, man? 100 gem BSB. Why could that not have been Gogo's Rod? But dang it, man. Still, very useful Mage BSB, but not on the upper end of Mage BSBs. I'm so conflicted right now because I'm happy that I just 100 gemmed a BSB. Honestly, around 1%, 1.5% chance. That's pretty rare, but it's just the one that I wanted least out of all 3 of them. So, happy sad. I am very happy sad right now. I hope you guys have amazing luck on this banner. I'm not going to do a substantial pull on it. We do have Extreme Fest coming up here really soon, then an amazing Final Fantasy VII banner, and then a Final Fantasy VI event. As well, I am contemplating maybe making a pull for X-Death's BSB on the 2nd banner. So, again, I do have 2 soul breaks for Creel now, so she's, at this point, very functional of a character for me. Oh, guys, I don't know, I'm still happy, but, man, I really wanted that Go-Go BSB. If you guys pull, I hope you have amazing luck. Personally, I'd recommend either saving everything or entertaining the 2nd banner if you absolutely have to pull on one of these 2 Final Fantasy V banners. Stuff for X-Death, his BSB, as well as the Lenna USB. Probably going to outweigh some of the relics you're looking at on this banner, except that cool Go-Go relic. Anyway, guys, I hope you have great luck. That's going to be it for today. Consider subbing to the channel if you haven't already and join the family here. We got lots of cool gaming stuff going on. And as well, like the video if you enjoyed the content. It definitely will help boost me up in the algorithms on YouTube here. I appreciate all of you guys. This is Nazdarachi. And at the very latest, I'll be seeing you on Sunday for the 2nd banner. Have a good one. Peace out, y'all.